Today, I'm going to talk about what it means to be living fully. And this is inspired by the movie I went to watch last week called Good Luck to You, Leo Grande. I don't know how many of you have seen the movie. It is a really marvelous, wonderful movie with Emma Thompson in it. Um, so the movie is about a retired 60 something, recently widowed religious education and ethics teacher. And all her life, she's been married to the same man for, I don't know, over 30 plus years and never experienced pleasure in sex. And she decided to hire a young male sex worker to expand her experience, I suppose, of intimacy. And it's a wonderful, wonderful movie. The reviews, I scroll through the Google website to see what the reviews say because I had a different idea. And most of the reviews say it's about sex, it's about body image, and it's about aging. But for me, I thought there were so many profound and useful messages that came out of the movie that got me thinking. And one of those is really about living our life the same way that society expects us, our family expects us. When do we wake up and think, what does living fully mean? And am I living my life fully, or am I just living my life based on society's expectations? So as you can see on the slide, I have some questions for you. My answers and your answers are likely to be different, because what does living life fully mean to you? We're all at different phases of our lives. There's some fairly young people in the session right now, so your life circumstances is different, but are you living fully? And there are some of us who are middle age as well. For me, it means showing up every day and making a difference to whoever I get in contact with. And I even see that in my dog Piper when I take her to the park, and she's making a difference because she's so friendly with everybody. And so whoever she greets at the park, she puts a smile on their face. And to me, that in itself is being present and living fully. But of course, it's other things as well. It's spending time and telling people you love that you love them, and spending quality time and trying new things. For example, I just came across a TED talk by this lady called Delise Price about it's never too late, and she discovered skydiving at the age of 56, and that's just like incredible. And anyway, but for you, what does living fully mean? And I can say categorically, what it is not is we are living on autopilot. Our life is boring and joyless, and we know it, but we're not doing something about it because we're waiting for perhaps the children to leave home, we're waiting for the mortgage to be paid, or we're waiting for, I don't know, something else to happen, or there are always excuses in our head. And that to me is not living fully. And we don't have to wait for something drastic in our life to happen, like a loss, a divorce, an illness, or even paying off the mortgage, to live life fully. So I guess for me, I don't have the answers for you, but for me, part of this session is getting you to wake up and determine for yourself, are you living your life fully? And if it's not, why not? And what is stopping you? Now, having said all that, we are so conditioned, and that's part of the message from the movie, that we are so conditioned by our society, by the people around us, our experiences, that sometimes we think that is the only way, or we would have that habitual patterns of thinking that tells us that no, we can't. And so those sort of habitual thinking can be very, very ingrained in our mind and can be difficult to undo. But it's not impossible. And that's why, mindfulness and meditation really helps us to first be aware of what are those thoughts that are holding us back, that are so deeply ingrained in us. But we can certainly do something about this. So I want to read you a paragraph from the book called High Tide in Tucson by Barbara Kingsolver. She's an essayist. And she says here, in my own worst seasons, I've come back from the colorless world of despair by forcing myself to look hard for a long time at a single glorious thing, a flame of red geranium outside my bedroom window, and then another, my daughter in a yellow dress, and another, the perfect outline of a full dark sphere behind the crescent moon, until I learned to be in love with my life again. Like a stroke, victim retraining new parts of the brain to grasp lost skills, I have taught myself joy over and over again. And therefore, it is possible. It is possible to uncondition our deeply conditioned mindset. And we know that even through science and neuroplasticity have shown us that it is possible. So I guess the first part is really getting you to answer these questions about, are you living fully? Are you holding back? And what is making you hold back from really living fully, from finding joy and happiness in our life? And then the next question, the final question on that slide is, but is finding happiness a selfish thing? And are having desires always bad? And certainly in the movie, that was what the character Nancy felt, that she couldn't, it was a selfish thing to do and she didn't know how. And I think for many of us, especially mothers, I think, find that they have this responsibility and trying to carve out time for themselves, and or trying to do something nice for themselves is not right, because there's just too many things to do around the house with the children, etc. So what I want to do is draw you to some Buddhist psychology, right? This is from my teacher's book, The Wise Heart. He says that in the 13th principle of Buddhist psychology, there are both healthy and unhealthy desires. And I think we all know that, right? But the main thing is to know the difference and then find the freedom in the midst of it all. So William Blake, the poet, says, those who enter the gates of heaven are not beings who have no passions or who have curbed the passions, but they are those who have cultivated an understanding of them. And so the Buddhist psychology connects the root of desire to the neutral mental factor called the will to do. So it is part of our energy of life. So when the will to do is directed in healthy ways, it brings about healthy desires. When the will to do is directed in unhealthy ways, it brings about unhealthy desires. And my teacher Jack goes on to say in his book, well, healthy desires are based on wisdom and compassion. So they are associated with caring, they're associated with loving kindness and appreciation. So the same healthy desire gives rise to dedication, to steadiness, graciousness, generosity, and flexibility. And so they are the source of our happiness. So today, I urge you to think deeply about these 3 questions. Are you living fully, or are you living your life based on your conditioning, your expectations of others, of society? Or are you using those as excuse even to not take action to live life fully? Knowing very well now that having healthy desires and seeking happiness is really not a selfish act. In my view, it is a responsibility because until we can be happy inside, we feel fulfilled inside, we can't serve others. There will always be judgment in us of others when we're not complete or whole ourselves. All right. On that note, let's do some meditation. And today I'm going to take you through first to get you settled, and then we're going to go into a compassion and then a loving kindness practice. So if you sit in a way that you're comfortable, and let's just iron out the creases and the stresses in your body. So maybe you might just want to shake it out a little bit, roll your neck, roll your shoulders. And then once you feel, your body is relaxed, just close your eyes and let your gaze soften onto the floor. And take a moment to just take some really long, deep breaths. And with each out breath, just allow yourself to feel the tension leaving your body. You can also visualize as if your breath is like a waterfall. With every exhale, it's washing away all the tension in your body, allowing the tension to release into the earth. The mind might wander, and that's what the mind does. You, the deeper I, notices that and bring it back. Bring your attention back to the breath, following the breath wherever you sense it. Bring a curious mind to the breath as a way of allowing you to be present, to be here. You can also say this little mantra to yourself. Breathing in, you feel calm. Breathing out, you feel relaxed. Now I invite you to bring your attention to your heart space. Just firstly sense what that feels like for you. Is there any spaciousness in that heart space? Or is there contraction? And if there's contraction, see if you could breathe into the heart space and allowing the contraction to open with each exhale. And now, as I say these phrases, see if you could visualize or sense it for yourself. May I love myself just as I am. May I sense my worthiness and well-being. May I trust this world. May I hold myself in compassion. May I meet the suffering and ignorance of others with compassion. May I love myself just as I am. May I sense my worthiness and well-being. May I trust this world. May I hold myself in compassion. May I meet the suffering and ignorance of others with compassion. May I love myself just as I am. May I sense my worthiness and well-being. May I trust this world. May I hold myself in compassion. May I meet the suffering and ignorance of others with compassion. And now I'm going to guide you through a loving kindness, and same as the compassion meditation. Visualize or sense for yourself these phrases. May I be filled with love and kindness. May I be healthy in body and mind. May I be safe. May I be happy and at ease. May I be filled with love and kindness. May I be healthy in body and mind. May I be safe. May I be happy and at ease. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be healthy in body and mind. May I be safe. May I be happy and at ease. May I be filled with love and kindness. May I be healthy in body and mind. May I be safe. May I be happy and at ease. I invite you to just sense this love that you have wished for yourself, the compassion, the well-being that you've wished for yourself, and sense that in your being. And I guide you back with the sound of 3 bells.